Hello everyone, my name is Mallory Royal, and the following video will discuss certain strategies through personal experiences that relate to cognitive psychology and the acquisition of knowledge. To begin, when considering aspects of cognitive psychology that relates to the mental processes of learning, the idea of self-regulation and specific strategies from personal experience should be identified. So for the first question to be discussed is, what is the most efficient self-regulated learning strategy that will enable you to construct new knowledge? For my answer, I think that defining self-regulation is in order to further understand. So according to Ackerman 2018, behavioral self-regulation is the ability to act in your long-term best interest consistent with your deepest values. It is what allows us to feel one way but act another. I believe that this is most contingent with constructing new knowledge because it impacts how we think about the information that we gain and how to process it. So for the strategy, I think the most effective strategy that applies to this for me is self-efficacy and self-regulated learning, because it follows tenets of organization through planning, monitoring, and reflecting. For example, learning information at Colorado Christian University, I plan my course is out through the sessions. I read the required session information. Then I monitor my progress through testing my retrieval of my knowledge to see if I really understand it and retain it. And then reflecting on everything through looking at my grades to test my ability to construct the knowledge into the specific assignment details to see if I really understood it and constructed the ideas from the information processed. For the second question, what is the most efficient self-regulated learning strategy that will enable you to apply existing knowledge? So I believe that in my personal experience, when I rehearse information over and over again, I'm able to retain and further apply what I've learned. For example, in a biology class, I would rehearse information by testing myself with note cards, and rehearsal allowed me to retain, retrieve, and apply that foundation of knowledge into other information. So like subjects like chemistry, microbiology, and other concepts where biology comes into play from the foundation of knowledge, I would be able to apply it. So Butler et al. 2017 states, the same thing recurring on different days in different contexts, read, recited on, referred to again and again, related to other things, and reviewed, gets well wrought into mental structure. This is the reason why you should enforce on your pupils habits of continuous application, which is a quote by William James, 1899 to 1962. This also relates to the idea of repeated retrieval practice that Ariel and Karpik 2018 discuss in the statement of repeated retrieval practice is a powerful learning tool in promoting long-term retention. So like my biology, just doing the same thing over and over, being exposed to it, I was able to retain and put it into further knowledge. For the third question, what is the most efficient self-regulated learning strategy that will enable you to transfer knowledge into new contexts? My answer is, for me, I think that the idea of variance and applying knowledge to other areas when learning is the best way to transfer to new contexts. This and creating a story through mental imagery allows me to connect what I've learned through new concepts, specifically with my biblical knowledge. Through reading scripture and making a visual story in my mind, I can remember the lessons associated with the story, and I can transfer that lesson to other areas, like I do in psychology assignments at school and in my professional life. One example of this is through the scripture of Galatians 5:22-23 KJV, which states, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law." When I think of this, I imagine like a fruit basket with fruits of each thing, like in my mind, that had the values written on each of those fruits. And I'm able to apply this further and transfer this knowledge into new context because of that story that I created in my mind that allows me to retain it and transfer it into other things like psychology work, school assignments, my personal life with other people by thinking about those concepts on that fruit, if that makes sense. Question 4, or reflecting on how this benefits my professional life. So when learning, retaining, retrieving, and applying this new information into other aspects of life, as well as transferring information, there are many benefits in my professional life. Because I deal with patients in the medical field, I have to adapt to every situation and apply my knowledge of different subjects on a daily basis. So from science, biology, anatomy, repeated procedures, and critical assessments and thinking, I connect all the information that I have gained in my experiences and retrieve the information to apply to the current situation, like with whatever patient is experiencing at the exact time. So this relates to Goldstein 2019 idea of the exemplar approach, which can also deal with more easily with variable categories, chapter 9. An example of this is whenever I had a patient who presented with specific symptoms that I'd experienced in a prior patient, and school knowledge teaching us these symptoms, what to look for. And I was able to connect that prior experience with this patient to diagnose, treat off of that previous example. So in conclusion, self-regulation is a substantial part of learning, applying, and transferring information with specific strategies for each area. Through my personal experiences and application of biblical, professional, and personal life, a better understanding is gained and supported by relevant academic knowledge. So thank you for watching. Bye.